How's everyone hearing me fine? Can everyone hear me? What's the chat say? Can the chat hear me just fine? Alrighty. So friends, thank you for joining us. Today, I am so excited because we're going to be talking about something that's very passionate and near and dear to my heart, looking into security events and how to investigate different security things using AWS Detective. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and have my awesome hosts of honor come on and introduce themselves and tell us what they're going to be talking about today and the cool features that Detective is going to be doing with none other than Security Lake. Let's go and bring them on. Hey, how are you guys doing today?
Doing well. How are you?
Doing very well.
Doing well.
So first, tell the audience, who are you, what do you do, and why are you here today?
It's a great question, actually. My name is Brent Maynard, and I am the Senior Product Manager for Detective. And I'm super excited to be here in Las Vegas at reInvent. As you can see, Rima and I have the same wonderful background. We're not too far from you, but yeah.
You're so close, but yet so far away. As you can see, I'm here on the expo floor where thousands of things are going on at the same time, but it's super awesome. Great virtual background. Yeah, it looks like you got some custom print back there. Looks like a movable wall, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and I'm Rima. I'm a senior security researcher with Amazon Detective, with the security and data science team. And I'm really happy to be here.
Now, you're actually the first security researcher that I have actually had the honor of bringing on to the show and talking to. Can you tell us what you do in your role and how that works with Detective and what we're going to be talking about today?
Yeah, so I actually work closely with our data scientists at Amazon Detective, as well as the engineers, and of course, product and customers, but closely with the data science. So we do a lot of work around analysis and kind of studies at scale to just understand the shape of the data. And we take feedback from customers, and we kind of like try to test things before we introduce them in the product. And so we do a lot of work around machine learning. Brent will also mention some of the, one of the features that we launched with generative AI and statistical models. The work's really interesting because it bridges the space between security and analysis. And I like to think of all of our security engineers as like data analysts. Yeah.
That is really, really cool. And what is it that Detective is now able to do? This is very exciting news for me, especially, we launched Amazon Security Lake, which is a very amazing way of getting all the data sources you would need to do an investigation or just have, operational observability or ways to understand what's going on in your environment with basically a click of a button. But now we're taking it a step further and we're making that data actionable through Detective. Am I getting that right?
Exactly. We have 4 launches this time at reInvent, which we're really excited about. Starting at the top with generative AI and Detective. I think we're getting a little echo, Rima. There we go. Sorry about that. So we have 4 launches this reInvent that we're really excited about. We're adding generative AI to Detective, which it's all the rage right now. But for security application, Detective provides such a great quality output that we can use generative AI to enhance that for our analysts when they're diving deep on any investigation. And then as you move through the investigation stack, then you move into detective investigations for IAM, where you can more or less interrogate an IAM principal to get more information on, who done it, where did it go, what did it do, did it travel, did it not travel, and get a clean report back as an analyst. And that's just something that nobody's really doing for like digital investigations very well. And we've heard from our customers that they wanted us to do better, and we're really happy to be able to provide that to them. And then, as you mentioned, moving down, we have the ability to retrieve raw logs now from Security Lake, which is something that we find super helpful and valuable, not only from an investigation standpoint, but once you get down to that root cause, you can say, hey, this is exactly what happened and I can prove it. And here's the log line to show that. And additionally, you can threat hunt with it as well. So once you get down into those logs, you find something that you didn't expect. You say, okay, well, with this type of data, now I can go back to detective and start pivoting on new data sets in order to help understand, what's going on in your environment, whether that's reactive or proactive. And that's really where we're going with detective, is really more proactive investigations to help folks understand what's going on.
See, now that's awesome. And, we could talk about this and how neat it is until we're blue in the face, right? But I feel like, again, I'm a very hands-on person, and, I'm sure our audience would love to see this in action. And fortunately for us and myself, we have a demo, right?
We do. And we brought Rima along. So Rima is the master of all demos, which is so awesome to have her. And she did a majority of this work, as she was saying, when it comes to her security research. So getting to showcase that is awesome.
Awesome. Let's go ahead and bring up the demo. I'm very excited for this. I'm a fanboy when it comes to detective and Security Lake, and to just see all of this is super exciting. So let's go ahead and switch over to our tab of the detective console and take a look at what we got.
All right. So I'm just gonna enlarge this. So what I'm showing you right now is a group of events, entities, and findings, and some of them are generated from other finding providers, in this case, Inspector and Guard Duty. And then we also have entities, including IAM principals, as well as buckets. And what this represents is an interesting connected elements that represent a single security event, maybe a potential incident. So today, with the new launch using generative AI, we're able to take this subgraph that represents a security event of interest and provide a summary. So what you're seeing on the left is a summary through generative AI, and we can quickly learn that in this graph, we have two IAM principals that are involved in unauthorized access through some IP address. It doesn't really tell us precisely what's the relationship between the two, but we know that they are involved in these anomalous activities. So generative AI, instead of us kind of tabbing through the graph, we're just able to read up the summary. Now, if we want to dive deeper to learn more about this event, we're going to use the second feature that we launched. Actually, we launched it yesterday, which is called automated investigation. So I'm going to do a deeper dive there, so we can understand exactly, is this, what's the risk, or what's the severity of the activities performed by this user. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the actor. In this case, the actor is some external user, and we'll go visit the user profile. So from the user profile, we're going to run investigation. And I do have the dates here. I'm going to change it a little bit. So I have the 21st. I'm just going to give it an extra day. And I'm going to update the scope. And let's run investigation. So it's pretty simple. So to just keep it clean, I will remove any state. I'm just going to show the, So let's just look at the active ones. Actually, let's see. I'm gonna have to go back.
See, I think our audience likes it when the experts also, click through things and just like, oh gosh, I need to click on this button instead.
I did not prepare for the filter. But yeah, so you can see I was actually running some investigations previously as I was testing. The top one is the one that I just ran. So
Okay.
we'll take a look at it. So notice that the severity here is proposing it's a high severity. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about this because that does involve an algorithm that we developed that uses machine learning and statistical models, a classifier to actually tell us something about the confidence that the events that we're seeing are associated with a potential attack. So let's click on the report. And the report is in the console, it's this nicely organized, frames that contains all the data that the automated investigation performed. Now, automated investigation performs a data collection, it runs queries against the behavioral graph, as well as some other computations, and it generates, returns these indicators of compromise that were found or not found for the actor that we're investigating. So we'll go a little bit more into that. But I do want to mention that what makes automated investigation kind of ranking really unique is that we run a global analysis across data, and then we do establish a baseline for the indicators of compromise, and each indicator has a weight. And this weight could change and as the threat landscape as well change. So no matter what size of data customer has, they're always going to have a weight for the indicators that are present in their environment. So let's break this down. The severity is computed with these two measurements. We have a quantifier for the confidence, which I just talked about. And then we also look at the security impact. So the security impact is once I know that I've seen indicators that increases my suspicious that this is a bad event. Now I want to know, what did the actor perform? Did they just list buckets, or did they get objects? Did they delete something? So those are represented as a mapping from actions to TTPs from the MITRE framework, but tailored for AWS. So let's look at the summary. So if you need to read one thing, it would be the summary. So in this summary, this is all automatically generated. It proposed that this user was involved in anomalous behavior, and the mapping for the activities from CloudTrail maps to exfiltration as well as impact.
So not only are we doing, generative AI and discovery and developing, what has happened, we're also basically writing the after action report for our security events now too.
Exactly. Yeah, I like that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And someone in the chat was mentioning so basically now SecOps can kick back and browse the internet all day. That's not true. I feel like this is going to allow us to do a lot more cooler stuff. But we're going to let systems do the tasks of gathering all the information we would need to make our informed decisions. But I like where your thought is on thinking that we could just kick back and relax now.
Yeah.
It's incident response. We never get to relax.
And I like to think about this as at the tip of the iceberg. Like today we have, we're able to tell you X number of indicators of compromise, but in the future we want to allow you to, we want to give you more, and we want to allow you to, maybe do your custom IOC for your own environment. So certainly, we're here to help our analysts make very quick decision, help you not worry about the heavy lifting involved in writing up scripts and queries and gathering the data and analyzing the log, we'll do it for you. And we're tapping into not just only CloudTrail, but we're using the behavioral graph. We're looking at findings. We're computing impossible travel. And I'll go into that in a little bit.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and let's take a look at that right now. Actually, that sounds like it. That's exciting to me. So let's go ahead and take a look at that.
Let's do that.
Please.
So in this summary, we have the TTPs. It's also telling us that this user has a flagged IP. Think of it as a malicious IP. And then also it's involved in a finding group, possible travel, and a bunch of never seen before activities like geolocation, user agents. I mean, just seeing these indicators, my gut feeling tells me something is not right.
Something is funny.
Something is funny, but don't worry, this is all simulated. But also the severity label being high tell us that the confidence and the impact is something for us to really, we need to take action, right? So we need to do something. All right, so let's take a look at the, what else? So we have the overview. Now we are not only looking at the user or principal, but you're also looking at the IPs that this principal used that are considered of a higher severity because they were associated with the indicators of compromise. So you're quickly able to see it visually here that this specific IP address was used to perform 6 tactics. It was used to do an impossible travel, and it's involved in a new geolocation in Japan. So that's all quickly returned in the report. And I want to say something about the impossible travel. So if we come down to the unusual activity, the impossible travel details, this is actually an algorithm that what it does, it looks at if the travel happened within 400 miles an hour, and we're currently looking within 1 hour buckets. So this principal moved from Tokyo to Ashburn. So this is, if we're investigating a user, the chances that this is a leaked credential is pretty high. The other thing.
That's awesome. And so, impossible travel. I like how this is all correlating this and visualizing it for us. And this is all through this new feature that Detective has. And to wrap up, where can someone get started to learn more about this feature?
So the best place to really start would be we have really good well-documented steps in the user guide. I also suggest that you would just enable Detective. It's very intuitive. You're able to run an investigation on even just an NEIM principle that you're not worried about, just to kind of see what it looks like to have a negative report. You'll be able to see all of that just from the console. But I would suggest the user guide. We're also publishing a blog that's coming soon. We do have 2 sessions today that I'm going to be doing an end-to-end investigation for Security Hub and guard duty findings, and we're going to show how you can run this through the APIs. We have public APIs now that you can use, and you can download all of that through, just in a computer readable format, or you can just download it from the console.
Awesome. Well, Rima and Brent, it was so awesome to hear about this new feature of Detective. I'm excited to poke around at it and see what kind of trouble I can stir up, or maybe even investigate. Maybe there's something going on in my environment I'm not aware of. But hey, thank you so much, you two, for your time today. Looking forward to it. Rima and Brent, they could also be found at like the security identity compliance booths from time to time here at the expo floor. Everyone have an awesome reInvent, and we will be back in just a moment. Stay tuned.
Thank you.